It's movie day. I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes. This week's episode, we are going to be getting into Luca Guadagnino's new movie, okay, After the Hunt. They're calling it a psychological thriller.
There's a lot of psyche up in it, that's for sure.
There's a lot of something, okay?
Yes, I've been waiting weeks to hear your thoughts on this one. As we saw this quite early, you did a special screening conversation with the cast I saw with Glad.
I did.
Yes, yeah.
I did.
I'm sure we're about to have a hell of a conversation. But first, as usual, I want to know if anything sparked your fancy in the Hollywood headlines this past week.
Well, I think the biggest news of the moment, right, is one Dame Diane Keaton.
Yes.
Has transitioned.
Yes.
She has gone to the upper room.
We found out apparently she's everyone's favorite white woman.
Which is interesting to me.
Yeah.
What are your... Yeah, everyone seemed to just be really affected by her death.
I was actually surprised at how affected I was.
Oh, okay.
Because I realized that I actually did love and watch and would just see any movie that I saw she was in theaters. And it was in that moment that I was like, oh yeah, I do really love Diane Keaton. And like, we may be losing a spot in cinemas that like I look forward to. Like, she did the cheeky, like weird, quirky white woman roles in rom-coms that I love. I came to her late career, so I don't even know. She's Academy Award winning, but I don't know her for the role that she won that Oscar for. So I'm more in the lane of the last book club series that she was doing.
Oh, yes, the book club.
That was my jam.
Yes.
The last movie I saw that she did that was released so far is Summer Camp, which I love, with Alfred Woodard. So I was like, damn, this really does kind of hit hard. Like, everybody's going who I don't need to go.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't as verklempt as a lot of folks.
Yeah.
But she is one of those white women that kind of has like this ever presence in Hollywood. I can't tell you much. Like, First Wives Club obviously is, iconic.
Which I hadn't even seen, to be honest, until after the BET Plus series that had like Jill Scott. And I was like, so this is referencing something that I'm not familiar with. Let me go watch the reference. Ariana Grande and Victoria Monet had that moment too, where I was like, I need to know this reference. So that's why I watched it. I didn't watch it prior to those like pop culture moments, but I think she has a really interesting catalog. Like, I'm interested in revisiting.
Well, one thing I find interesting about the catalog, because I was Googling on the IMDb, and trying to search and to jog my memory of her filmography. And one note I had was she didn't really star opposite any black people.
I mean, not many.
Like, they were in the movie. Yeah. They were there, but they're not on the poster.
I mean, she knows her thing, and
and I want to be clear. I'm not trying to say nothing. It was just like one of those things where I was like, oh wow, she. There are a variety of these white women we all love, seemingly that archetype. But many of them have moments in their careers where they intersect with some of our black legends as well. Yeah. And you mentioned the Summer Camp movie, the legendary Alfred Woodard is in that. But just doing a cursory scroll, I couldn't, nothing jumped out to me, but, a legend nonetheless, a hole left after her death nonetheless.
Do you have a favorite movie maybe from Diane Keaton?
I'm gonna go with the classic First Wives Club because I've seen it.
Okay.
And funny enough, I like the book club movies.
I do too.
Okay.
Like, I really love I like movies that take me somewhere.
Us.
I mean, I feel like they're for me.
No,
like, they fit squarely in my interests, like traveling, friendship.
Oh, so you have the interests of a 55-year-old white woman? Because that's who the movie is for.
I think I have an interesting intersection with
It's okay. You can be a little bit more senior, a little more mature, as the old folks used to say where I'm from, mature.
Yeah.
But I love those movies because they're simple, they're straightforward. There is a bit of a formula, and And it's good.
Yeah.
Not necessarily getting spellbounding acting
Beautiful
moments.
homes.
Yes. you said the movies are aspirational for you.
Absolutely.
You said you're plotting.
Yeah, I hope when I get to that age in life that I'm able to live that comfortably. That's
real.
sure.
Amen.
Yeah, my favorite, I think the movie that introduced me to Diane Keaton, where I actually paid attention to her as a character, was Something's Gotta Give, the rom-com from like 2003, I think it was.
Something's Gotta Give?
Yes, it's I think if you have not seen Something's Gotta Give, I highly recommend you watch it. If you're into that,
I don't think so.
It's funny. It's funny.
But you know what popped in my head when you said that?
What?
There's a movie that Sanaa Lathan stars in where she like falls in love with some white man.
New.
Something new.
I don't understand why people love that movie so much. Like, there's somebody on Threads or Twitter who always talks about Something New being their favorite rom-com, and I'm just like,
well, I didn't say that. Just for the record.
It's not.
Just for the record.
That movie didn't land on me that way. But no, the Something's Gotta Give is with Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
It's hilarious. Like, there are I think a lot of the gifts that I may use of Diane Keaton are from that specific film. If I like crying in the bed.
I think I have seen this like pop up in like a reel of hers or something like that. Okay, well, shout out to the legendary Diane Keaton.
Yes.
You know, we speak your name, I guess.
Yes.
You know. All right, we are going to take a quick break. I would love to hear from the folks listening in, from the folks watching on the YouTube. Drop in the comments, what's your favorite Diane Keaton movie? And who knows, maybe we will do a review of that.
Maybe, but I'll definitely be tapping in to check out those movies that I missed. So drop those comments.
You said you'll be watching,
yes.
But you know, I'm only gonna do it if we got to do a show on it. But you know, I just want to be direct with y'all, okay? Anyway, drop your thoughts, your comments, your feelings in the chat, and we'll be right back.
Yes, grab a snack and come on back. Director Luca Guadagnino serves up a simmering, intellectually charged stew with After the Hunt, a psychological thriller set within the cloistered, high-stakes world of an elite university. Julia Roberts stars as Alma Imhoff, a revered ethics professor, caught in an impossible bind when her star student, played by Ayo Edebiri, levels a sexual misconduct allegation against Alma's close colleague, friend, and maybe sometimes lover, Hank, who was played by Andrew Garfield. This is a film that uses the pressure cooker of academia to dissect what we think we know about truth, loyalty, and the price of protecting yourself. The question isn't just what happened, but what are we willing to sacrifice or bury to preserve our own place in the world? And today, we are seated to unpack After the Hunt. All right, now let's get into it. I would love to know your initial thoughts on this film, but of course, we have to bring in Luca Guadagnino, who was the director of this film. And tell me, are you familiar with his catalog, or what's your experience with Luca?
Yes. Shout out to the people honking their horns outside the building.
The block is hot.
You know, it always is. Okay, over here. Shout out to the Walk Good Yard. Amen. Okay. Luca Guadagnino. Okay, Luca, I've seen a number of his movies. You know, the most recent ones obviously being Challengers, Call Me By Your Name. He also had this other movie that came out
Queer?
Queer, that came out the same year as Challengers that I liked less than the other two I just
It was strange,
mentioned.
but there's another movie that I love from him that I didn't expect to love. He did a movie called Bones and All.
Yes.
So you've seen Bones and All?
I have seen that disgustingly gory movie. Yes, I have.
Yes.
Wow, I don't think I realized that he directed that.
Yes, it was one of his, and I think that's something that like interests me about him is because when I look at his taste in movies, you would expect coming from like Call Me By Your Name or a movie like Queer to have something like Bones and All in your pocket, but like I'm not someone who's into gore. I know you're probably more gore, horror adjacent.
No, I'm not actually. I'm a saved, sanctified woman.
Okay.
I don't participate in the devil's work.
I typically don't either, but I went to see it because it was a movie in theaters, and I think this was like 2022, 2023. So I was like, we weren't getting a whole bunch of movies that year. 2022, I think it was.
2022, yes. This is Taylor Russell. It's Timothée Chalamet. It's real It's real out there.
Yeah.
In terms of like that genre, but I did enjoy it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
When I left that movie, I said, "Oh, I did not expect this to be this type of film." It's a movie about not vampires. What's the other thing? Cannibals.
Cannibals.
Yes,
they are cannibals.
It was such a strange story.
Yes, Andre Holland has a small role in that as well,
playing her dad.
Yeah, playing Taylor Russell's dad. Okay, yes, okay. So that's the extent. I don't. If we didn't name it, I ain't seen it.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I have seen, and I'd say 3 out of the 4 of those I like.
Yeah.
And I enjoy.
And I think that's what piqued my interest when I saw he had a new movie coming out this year. I was like, he's really working, and also he's casting the people like Ayo Edebiri, Julia Roberts.
We're going to talk about that casting. We're going to talk about that casting.
But it was like, after Challengers, I was really curious about how a story like this, contrasting it against a movie that I saw earlier this year with similar settings, similar subject matter. That movie is Sorry Baby. But
yes.
The way I felt about Sorry Baby and how things were executed, I thought that Luca's perspective on this same subject matter would be more interesting. And for me, it kind of worked.
Okay, interesting. Okay, well, I will say, just for the people, Sorry Baby, I loved Sorry Baby. I liked it a lot better than Ray did.
I just thought it was boring.
I understand interesting you thought that was boring, but you didn't think this was boring. We will get into it. I do want to tell the people, Sorry Baby is one of the episodes we we did some piloting before we brought this all to you. So maybe we'll drop that conversation at some point. We'll see. I mean, it's on the wax already.
It is.
But I agree. I remember watching. So after The Hunt, I've seen it now twice. The second time I saw it, I thought was the first time I was seeing it until I, walked into the theater a few minutes late and realized that I know this scene. I've seen this movie.
To your point about being a few minutes late, I too was late-ish for my showtime. I took a friend with me this time, and the logistics of coordinating with someone else, they were a bit late, and I had to get up and go get them, come back, shots of Kindle, girl, yes. But I missed apparently something that has bugged a lot of critics. Like, apparently there's like a not Steven Spielberg, other white man, Woody Allen title sequence that keeps being brought up in people's reactions and reviews. Oh, we have Woody Allen titles to open up the thing to show you how serious it is and how it's going to be that type of film. So I missed literally just that moment. But I'm interested in where did you pick up in the story?
Where did I pick up in the story? Well, let me first start by saying that this is a movie that is attempting to wrestle with some complex things.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? And I appreciate that it's trying to wrestle with said complex things.
Yeah. And that's the part that I needed to touch my movie sensibilities that Sorry Baby didn't. Because Sorry Baby was very much so focused on not what's the word I'm looking for? Not really focusing on the victim's experience in the way we typically would expect. And I was like, I still need more tension present in the story in a way that I knew Luca would inject with his version, and that's something that I liked.
Okay, you gonna leave Sorry Baby out of this conversation, okay?
Fine, yes.
Okay, we ain't gotta compare the two,
but I can't help but compare because this is the second movie we're getting based in higher academics with. White woman is central to the story, but she is not the sexual assault victim.
Right.
This.
She's not the victim.
The one that the story's centered on, actually.
Well, I would say the movie is actually about her. It is about Julia Roberts' character.
Yes.
But the inciting incident of conflict is as a result of Ayo's character. And I'm going to say alleged only because that is what the movie, I feel like, attempts to to leave, the audience with.
And I know...
And I don't like that piece either, but we're going to get there too.
I'm not supposed to talk about Sorry Baby no more, but that was something that I thought was done well in Sorry Baby, is that we didn't actually see the incident. And so in a similar way, we're just seeing kind of like the fallout from that experience.
Yes.
Although it's very obvious, more obvious in Sorry Baby that it actually happened than it is in After the Hunt, where we don't see the moment of the scene at all. We just pick up right after it and the victim's expression of the moment. So,
Ayo's character, Elena, I believe is her name. Is that not it? I'm confusing movies.
Her name is Maggie.
Maggie. It is Maggie. I'm confusing her with somebody else.
Yes.
Anyway, Maggie, you're right. We don't see it, but I think I have a lot of complex feelings about this movie, and I will reserve the complex ones until after you get all of your glowing reviews out. And so I will start by saying, because the movie is about Julia's character primarily, is how I would articulate it. The film does do a great job of showing how I would say white women be white women in. That what the people say, feminism is for white people, for white women. Yeah. I feel like that is what what is at in contention here in this movie. This white woman, this professor, is being confronted with some things that now causes her to reevaluate, reconsider, right, her relationship, right, to Andrew Garfield, is that his name? Andrew Garfield's character, to her husband, to so much, and I do think that felt right. As somebody, as a black queer person who has been in the ivory tower at some of the highest heights, right? That felt like an accurate portrayal of whatever complexities we want to call it, if we want to call them complexities at all, of white womanhood. To
that point about that, do you think the choice of making the victim, the alleged victim, a black woman who is a PhD student and apparently wealthy enough to have professors move cautiously around her in the way that it's called out in this film, did that feel realistic to what could be possible in a higher education setting, or even like a Ivy League setting?
Well,
you also have Ivy League in your background.
She does. Amen.
Highly educated.
Too much, some would say. Me too. So this gets a little bit at my complications with the movie.
Got it.
I do not believe that Ayo Edebiri's character was intended to be a black girl. I do think she was intended to be queer. I do think that students who come from wealth, particularly the kind of wealth that Ayo's character is said to come from, right, with her parents like donating a building or something, immense in the movie. So that happens, absolutely. Money talks in
with
collegiate.
Black people,
I mean, I think it can happen. I just don't know of how many black people have parents.
Yeah.
Whether their parents are black, which I don't think her parents in this movie are.
That was something that I left.
Or if her parents are white.
We literally turned around to the people sitting behind us and were like, do we think she was adopted? I don't know. That was the one loose thread. It was like, is she?
Yeah. So, but you loved, it seems, this movie. What stood out for you?
I liked or appreciated how they ruffled or stirred the pot on the conversation about cancel culture, from it not being from the perspective of specifically the victim or the assailant, but from a third party who was messily entangled with both sides of it and has to figure out her place. This is being Julia Roberts, her place in the narrative.
Yeah.
And whether she believes this person or believes that person, and if she does believe this person, if she speaks about this thing, what does she herself put at risk? And like I liked that like messiness of it. It gave it something a bit tense in an interesting way that didn't have me feeling like I had to identify with one or the other when it came to the different ends of the spectrum. We were able to see her sort through that complication, and then having her husband,
Michael Stuhlbarg.
Michael Stuhlbarg. He was really great. There was a moment when I was like, this is probably, if he were still with us, would have been a character that I could see Robin Williams playing really interestingly.
Okay.
But the way his experience with Julia Roberts' character and like, you know, him knowing her to be somebody who values people who praise her.
Yes.
And worship her in a way.
Yes.
And also understanding how she got to the success that she has, and also his place in her life, and him not being what was her area of study? It was not psychology, it was philosophy.
Yeah, something like that.
Him not being in a philosophy department, but him being a therapist. He's a psychiatrist or whatever, or I'm not sure specific of his title.
Yeah.
Understanding that like to her that was lesser or not as appealing. So those were like nuances that made this an interesting story for me, I think, more so than other films.
Yeah, no, I do think that there are some, you know, character elements, particularly with Julia's character, particularly with in relationship, you know, out of her character, Michael Stuhlbarg, who's her husband, who is loving but also
direct.
You know,
he doesn't pull thoughts or punches.
He's great. Shout out to him and his acting. He's a standout for me in terms of performances. And then there is Andrew Garfield's character, who I feel like, you know, we get some information about him, the relationship between him and Julia Roberts' character. His character is younger than hers in so many ways. He also looks up to Julia Roberts' character in the same way that Ayo Edebiri's character does. Ayo, however, is a student, and Andrew Garfield's character is also a professor, though a younger professor. And also, I won't get to this. I won't spoil. I feel like I was about to get into a spoiler that I won't. But I feel like the Julia Roberts character, the Andrew Garfield character, they get the kind of character development that we want to see, that allow us to have some sort of, you know, immense conflict and tension there. I personally feel that because the racial element or the cultural element, and maybe this is just where I sit, you know what I mean? Maybe this is just me being the lens that I bring to film. But you know how we as Black folks often talk about like knowing when a Black movie is directed by a Black person or written by a Black person, or set designed by a Black person versus one that is not. Those small things like the kind of brush that's in the back, right? Or the fact that the woman goes to sleep in a bonnet. Those small things that nuances. You just know. Yeah, but that you just know because you down. You know what I mean? You done had a certain kind of lived experience. In this film, with Ayo's character, something felt missing and off with this, for me, with this Black queer woman who has, whether through privilege or some other finagling or intellectual ability, though it seems like she don't have that piece, has made her way into this space. There was no wrestling with that element, and that felt odd to me. As this movie is somewhat supposed to be reflecting a now of sorts.
Yeah. I think that speaks to your point of it feeling like it wasn't intended to be a black character. I was surprised, actually, that was a point that the character brought up in argument, was her being a black woman. I was like, oh, your blackness hasn't seemingly been a character trait for real.
Up to this point.
So it's like, why is your blackness in it? Like, so how have you been treated as a black woman versus a queer woman versus a student? Is weird. Or
but
a woman.
Also, maybe it don't need to be addressed. Maybe that's my own, maybe that's my dead angle, right? That I'm trying to bring into this. Yeah. Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe the point and the thrust of the movie is the focus, and that might have taken away from it somehow. Yeah. I'm not sure, but I definitely thought that like the entire movie gave beautiful gowns to me. There's an aesthetic quality, there's a clean and pristineness quality that is characteristic of Luca's work.
Yeah, that's true. That's
true.
Yeah.
And so it is a well-made movie. I have to give it that credit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something to your point about that blackness really sticks with me, and then like also the appearance of things, because there were moments, every moment we saw Ayo's character on screen, she essentially had straight hair, and then it was the scene in the bedroom where suddenly she was wearing her cornrows and just sitting in there. It's like, oh, so this is not her all day, everyday style. This is just an appearance or a costume she puts on, which was something that was interesting about the story too, learning that she was essentially taking on Julia Roberts' character and trying to become her in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't notice the braids, the cornrows.
Yeah, when she's sitting in the bed.
So it's a wig.
It's a wig. It's a wig.
Okay, well, and it does look like one.
Yeah.
For the record. Even in the promo.
Yeah.
It what did they say? Hard wig, soft life?
She had a soft life wig, yes.
Okay. No shade. No shade. Okay. But no, I'm glad you highlight that, because that does add some texture to the character that I didn't see, and I didn't see it in that scene because I was paying attention to something else that we will get to shortly. But I'm glad you said that.
That was something else I liked. One of my likes about the film was specifically how they chose to show that or extract that thread about her trying to or aspiring to be Julia Roberts' character was with the camera shots. Like, there were a lot of shots where we just see their hands or mannerisms, and it took me a minute to realize, because she's mimicking this character, they're specifically trying to show us this, and then we see it in the wardrobe when they have one of their confrontations, or actually two of their confrontations. Ayo is literally wearing a different version of Julia's outfit. They have all white on. They have her partner calls out this new long necklace she has that is literally almost the same as Julia Roberts' character necklace. And so I was like, oh, this is an obsession of sorts that they're trying to show us without like really putting it into text until, a big confrontational moment that happens. And I like that a lot about how they present that.
Yeah, there are those, once those elements are revealed, narratively, right? Because you see them throughout the movie, and then there's a moment, a couple moments later, where it's like actually addressed, and then it does help add to the that psychological thriller aspect that apparently this movie is supposed to be. You mentioned the costuming. I do want to shout out the costume designer, Julia Piersanti.
Okay.
She has worked on a number of other, or I assume Julia has worked on a number of other what's this man's name? Luca Guadagnino projects, including Bones and All and Call Me By Your Name.
Yeah, he's one of those directors that like has his ragtag crew that does multiple projects with him.
Which is why I question whether or not Madame Edebiri You know, I think he like many other people sees the doll doing what she's doing out here, and is like, yeah, I want a little bit of that razzle dazzle. I don't know, and you know, let me not speak too much on the motivations for the cast and whatnot, but yes, that aesthetic element, I think it is a useful part of the storytelling here.
Yeah, another you mentioned Michael Stuhlbarg's performance as one of your standouts. One of my standout performances actually was Andrew Garfield's character.
Okay.
I thought he played the role of like a privileged, kind of entitled white man really well. Specifically, there's a diner scene where I thought it was really smart how they showed that pompousness a bit when him talking about ordering his usual and, you know, Julie's reaction to like your usual. Like,
right.
And she's realizing or noticing kind of like how much of a asshole he is, I think, in that moment in an interesting way.
The day after the
assault takes place. And also, you know, the moment where he has his big explosive thing in the hallway when he goes to her class and addresses it and has that moment. And then again, you know, at her, I don't know how to describe this. Is it like an office or a second home, an apartment?
Second apartment. Because she's a woman of privilege too. So she has a second space over by the water that she sneaks out to
work in.
Okay, to quote unquote work away from her loving, doting husband and that fabulous.
It's an amazing house,
Okay, situation that they got. But yes, keep going. I'm sorry.
And I love his performance. That was really it. Like I just wanted to call that out as something I love as a performer.
Yeah. I don't. You know what's. Yeah, he was convincing.
Yeah.
He was convincing. Absolutely, he did play that role well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those were my top line likes.
Okay, great.
I think we can shift the conversation into some things that you found a bit more.
Last thing. I do think Julia Roberts is doing her good acting.
Oh, yes.
We didn't say that.
Yeah.
We didn't say that. Yeah. Ayo's not bad either, to be clear. Yeah. The acting in this movie, I'll give it to most of y'all.
Yeah. I was looking forward to seeing Ayo's performance in this, but I also don't. There was a moment with her performance that I was like, I felt like she was acting when after the confrontation in class.
In a good way or bad way?
In a bad way.
Oh.
It was her sitting by the tree and like crouched over and like crying. I was like, this isn't really delivering what I think is intended. So I wasn't as impressed by Ayo's performance, sadly, but
that's all right.
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
Yeah, I know.
You're not impressed with the one black girl in the whole thing.
I know, but hey, that's just the reality of my experience.
Well,
like,
yes, it is.
I'm not gonna BS it just because she black.
And you shouldn't. Okay, let's get into some of our complications because I have ran around this for a little minute, okay? And I'm about to stand up on a soapbox really quickly, okay?
I put it up for you. There you go.
Okay? Y'all gotta leave us out of it. By the us, I mean the they, thems. It is time for you all to leave the they, thems out of your productions, particularly when you only want to use our identities as a character plot point to introduce some sort of tension. Okay? I'm tired of it. Okay? In the words, because you know I like quoting my songwriters, of a Pulitzer Prize winner this time, okay? Those they, thems are not like us. They don't feel real. They don't feel lived in. And you can tell the ways that we become, just random stuff that y'all inject in because it's got to have a they, them to feel current. It's got to have a they, them. You got to have somebody struggling over the they, them pronouns. You got to have somebody invalidating this they, them person for whatever reason because that shows that Julia Julia Roberts' character isn't as hip as you might think she is, isn't as progressive, isn't as feminism as you might think she is, or what should I say, isn't as womanism, okay, as she should be, right? This is not the first movie that we've gotten over the last period of moments where the they-them representation is some basura, okay? Where y'all are purposefully, I can only say purposefully because you can leave us out of it, okay? But you are purposely pulling in these characters, right, who are only there in service of someone else, right? They did this in one battle after another with the they-them who turns on the young beloved, okay? Not to mention, I'm gonna leave that movie alone because we're not talking about that. We're not talking about them.
Yeah.
I'll come back to them. But the they-them character in this movie is played by a fine actor by the name of Leo, okay? Trans-mask person. We love seeing trans-mask representation on the screen. I want to be clear. Yes, hire the people. And also, I wish he had more to do. I wish that the inciting incident in this movie in which the Julia Roberts character finds out that she has been carrying around, or we as the audience find out that she has been carrying around this debilitating, disease, that the inciting incident isn't something where the non-binary person and his goons is confronting.
Yeah.
And I use his, spiritually, okay? Don't play with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it after not really seeing the person, and then we see the person in that scene that you mentioned with the hair apparently that Ayo is showing. That character comes in to confront, console her in that moment, and yet the love that you would assume is in this relationship, it is also splintered, right? Because the Leo's character, realizes how infatuated Ayo's character is with Julia's character, and it's a problem, right? And so the character becomes the very thing that Julia accuses the character and reduces the character to because of who they are. I just would rather, as a non-binary person who shows up in the world in the ways that I show up in the world, I want more, and I would rather be left out at a time in which that fool, okay, is doing what he and they are doing against trans communities, against non-binary and gender expansive people in this moment. I'd rather you leave us out of the film altogether if you are not going to give our characters the due diligence that you are giving these other characters. Because my God, today, is it just racking my brain about why this would be the way. And now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead. You say something.
Yeah, that is what I've noticed as a trend, specifically in actually the last three movies, including this one we've covered, with One Battle After Another, with, what did we cover last week? Kiss of the Spider-Woman.
Kiss of the Spider-Woman.
With Now After the Hunt. It's like every story feels the need to have a queer, specifically non-binary character in there, but they aren't giving these characters care or true meaning in the stories. They're just essentially kind of plot devices to move forward the lead character's narratives. And it's just like, if we're not, it's like having a black, just like back in the 90s or whatever, when they just put a black person in the movie just to say they had a black person, as opposed to actually being interested in kind of digging into the story and experiences of these people.
It's enraging.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is quite enraging. And there's also this moment at the end of the movie, the very end of the movie, right? We hear Luca Guadagnino yell, "Cut!" Cut.
I was saving that for the last. Yes.
No, go on. Yeah. I want to hear your thought, because we hear him say "cut," and I do think that there's something there that I want to dive into for a little bit.
Yeah, that's something that definitely has been sticking with me, and me trying to figure out why. Like, are you trying to? Are you trying to? Like, 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 are you make sure you convey that this is a performative thing, or like, why do we need that specific moment, and also why do we need that last scene, if I'm being honest, because that last scene made no sense.
The last scene in the diner?
Yes.
When they come back together, Ayo's character and
are you amenable
Julia's,
for drinks, and they meet at drinks to the diner where that moment happens, but she's not sitting there long enough she doesn't even order a drink, and it's like, what was the point of this conversation?
She's there for literally 4 minutes or something like that.
So that whole
I do think that him keeping his yell of cut in the movie is I do think he's intending to trigger the audience into a kind of analysis and thinking, right? That this is indeed a movie. That this is indeed another word for this kind of movie to me is a social experiment, right? Of a conversation, of a text, of an experience, and the hearing of the cut, I think, is supposed to remind us that this is play.
This is a performance, yeah.
But there are real life experiences happening, like it is inspired by this real kind of lived experience. And in this moment, to your point about the cancel culture analysis, if you will, that is at the center of this movie. So I thought it was interesting. I hated it at first, but the more it sat with me, I was like, okay. And it makes me hopeful that the discourse as a result of this film will be the exact opposite of what that journalist said in asking this trio about the end or the death of Me Too and Black Lives Matter and all of that.
Yeah. Your point about it not being a real life moment that's being portrayed on screen is actually something I wanted to talk about, because this is the second movie we're getting in this specific setting with this specific experience. And whenever I start to see trends like that recur in movies, specifically in movies, especially within the span of like 6 months or something, I'm like, okay, I'm curious as to what the reality of this is being based on. So I did some digging, and I was curious just about what the experiences of sexual assault in academia really is in these spaces, because there has to be some type of material they're pulling from. And I found a report, a 2024 report by bestcolleges.com, and I have some interesting data points that I want to share. Between 2015 and 2021, the number of sexual offenses reported at higher education institutions increased by 23%. Fact one. As of 2019, 13% of college students experienced non-consensual sexual contact by physical force or inability to consent. Fact number two. During the same year, the majority of students who were assaulted since enrolling said their perpetrators consumed alcohol prior to the incident, which is something that happens in the movie. Number three. And number four was that while graduate students are less likely than undergraduates to report experiencing sexual misconduct, they are notably more likely to be sexually harassed by faculty or instructors. Now, these are data points from reports on real life college experiences and things that I saw pop up in the film. Andrew Garfield's character, it's noted that after he had drinks is when this moment happened. She poured him a drink. Julia Roberts' character asked him, why would you go to a student's house and drink something they poured for you? So we know that he was intoxicated. So that's dinging that fact. Another fact that was brought out was that PhD students or graduate students are more likely to be sexually harassed by faculty or instructors, which is a specific point we see highlighted here, because a lot of sexual assault happens peer-to-peer from other students. So I was like, there are real moments that are being extracted here. And I'm like, does the filmmaker care about pulling this up? Like, is it that you want to highlight these experiences of people who are suffering in these spaces, or are you just trying to be a part of discourse for the sake of like trend? And that's something I was a bit concerned with. I was like, looking at these things for entertainment is one thing, but I'm also like really conscious of like how I consume things without caring about people who are actually experiencing these things and making entertainment out of suffering.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I guess, an opportunity to note that, Luca didn't write the film. It is written by a woman by the name of Nora Garrett.
Yep.
And so that's an important note. I haven't read up on her, but I'm seeing this headline right here that she used to be an assistant in Hollywood, and now she's like one of the most wanted writers in particular.
Is she a black or white woman?
That is a white woman.
Got it.
Come on now.
I mean, you never know.
I mean, you're right, but you're right. I leave my comment for myself. But yeah, it is a movie that I hope does make people talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
while I am frustrated by the kind of structure that this film takes, I do think that is a structure that, in theory, right, allows different kinds of people to see slices of themselves or the kinds of responses they might have in these kinds of situations, right? And hopefully we all leave this movie, trying to be better, support systems for people who, say they've been, assaulted. I always say, we're supposed to be starting from a place of believing folks who say they've been victimized, right? Particularly because we know the numbers around reporting, the very small numbers around reporting and the reasons that motivate.
While you're right
number.
Here, I also want to bring up the moment of Julia Roberts' character being a victim herself,
allegedly,
and well,
because I would say no, because she said, well,
that's why I'm bringing this up.
Okay,
is because she says yes, it happened to her. However, she didn't see herself as a victim. She was a willing participant.
She was underage. She was underage with. She was underage when she had sex with somebody who was not underage.
Yes.
And
she was 15 and he was like 40 or something like that.
Oh, he was that old? I missed that part.
I'm guessing. I could be wrong.
He
but
was
old enough to be
an adult.
Old enough to be her parents' friend.
Okay.
Because she pointed out that he brought his new girlfriend to their house and was showing her around.
Okay.
So but one thing again to Michael Stuhlbarg's character being a therapist in that moment, he was very much so helping to try to reframe her understanding of what being a victim in that space was, with the dynamic of power as an adult and a child. Right. And although you feel like this, that is the thing that is being preyed on. And I appreciated how they further complicated or ruffled kind of the perspective on her experience as someone who was the third man in the dynamic between the student and the teacher assault situation. And I think that's what made the movie more interesting to me, more textured, and also giving that the audience kind of more agency to wrestle with that conflict and understanding how not straight to the point these situations can be for people. But then her also becoming the person who is a victor of sorts in the end by becoming the dean of the department she was just essentially under review for because of her activity, which that is another point that frustrated me. They put in her stealing a script pad and writing her prescription point for the medicine, then she gets in trouble for that or whatever. But it felt like that went nowhere for River. I was like, what's the fact is?
Well, so that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that is injected that doesn't have much follow through for various different reasons. Or rather, the follow through is that the white woman wins again.
Yeah.
Maybe that is all the way to that final scene, which you say you don't like, which I feel like is supposed to be an opportunity. It's supposed to be an opportunity for us as an audience to be cued into, in particular, Ayo's sensibility about why this was the woman she wanted to be. Yeah. Why this person was who she was willing to plagiarize for,
But then also understanding that helping Julia Roberts' character understand that you still feel like you suffered but in the end, you came out with more than what you started with at the point of conflict for you.
Got the job.
Not only she got her boss's job.
Well, right. That's my point, and I think it took some time, right? There was some
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So within 5 years of you stealing a script pad from a colleague in the department, so you could get your drug because you didn't want to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
With the great insurance you certainly have,
Which I didn't understand why you just didn't go to the doctor. Like what?
You know. 5 years later, you get the big job of the department. That is an interesting note, but I do think that's part of the thing that we're supposed to realize here about the ways that white women move through space.
Yeah.
White women are the ones who benefit most from what was formerly known as affirmative action, for example. And so
You're right about it.
And so there are some, to your point of those stats that you read earlier, there are some real life things that do pop up and bubble up, right? In this, again, social experiment of a film and a kind of conversation that I think Luca and the writer is attempting to have about this particular moment.
Yeah. So with all that, I mean, I think we've gotten to this enough. Is there anything else you want to get into before we share the audience and critic reactions, or do you feel fulfilled in this conversation?
I feel fulfilled. Before we go to the Rotten Tomatoes and all of that, seed it, skip it, or stream it.
For me, After the Hunt is a seated.
Okay. It's a seated, but it is as y'all have heard, it is
That's what makes movies interesting. It's not about them being perfect, but being things that you experience and have thoughts on, like conversation starters. Like,
absolutely,
you don't regret the time you spent in there. It was in a way enriching. It was like, well, what? It makes you think like, what the hell is this? So yes, this is why I love going to the movies.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. Yes. I'll give it to you and Luca and the rest of them. It was pretty much worth the time. I do think,
you saw it twice, so.
I did. I do think about 15, 20 minutes could be pulled personally, but it is pretty much well paced. Yeah. We don't need to keep going. Because I can talk. I can run my mouth all day. I do want to do our critic spotlight, our Black critic spotlight, and the Rotten Tomatoes information. Would you like to give the people the tomato?
Yes. So as of our time of recording, we actually only have tomato meter.
Yes, we do.
And it's not looking too good. With 127 critic reviews, it currently sits at a 39%, which. This is the lowest rated movie.
Does that feel surprising to you?
Yes. Like, I knew that this movie would be, there would be some dissent in it, but I didn't think it would be as low as it is.
Yeah.
And 39% feels hella low for me.
Yeah. And I see now that the popcorn meter, I just Googled on the Rotten Tomatoes. It's up now. It is also in that same area of 39, 38%.
Wow.
And so I think it's, I do think that great movies often are polarizing.
And I also think that this is probably the result of like fatigue on the conversation of cancel culture and all of that. We have gotten quite a few films on this topic. Like I remember Tar, people loved that movie.
Oh, sure.
But it was like at the earlier end of like these releases before we got other films touching on the similar subject matter. So I think maybe people are just kind of sick of the subject matter right now. And
I don't think people are quote unquote sick of the subject matter. I think this film does lack a particular kind of dynamism that might make people, feel like that 2 hours and 18 minutes is worth it, because it's very loose on that psychological thriller to me.
Yeah.
Like it's there, but it's not the anxiety or the angst that you might think you're going to experience for a psychological thriller. I don't feel like you actually feel that.
Fair. Well, let's get specific. I would love to hear Black Critic and spotlight them for the moment. So what do we got?
Yes. So we have pulled Sharon Nicole. I hope I said your name right, beloved, who wrote for Riot Us, okay? And they say the first half yanks us into its morally gray manipulations with a suspense bordering on fear. Halfway through, the tension flags and the psychological thrills deflate into a slice of academic life. By then, if After the Hunt has a point, it's a dull one. You know what? You ate that up, Sharon. You ate it, because that is.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
I think that sums it all up pretty well. We're going to take a quick break and come back with the Black Cinema Games.
Black Cinema Games! Yes.
Back again. And now it's time for my favorite segment this week and every week, Black Cinema Games!
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew.
All right, so are you ready this week?
I am ready. What do you have us playing this time? Are we doing Credit Crawl? Are we doing the Sonic game? What are we doing?
We are going to do a kind of a bit of a soundbite game.
Okay.
But it's going to be, I think we should call this Movie Jamz.
Movie Jamz.
Yes.
Okay.
And
okay.
I think it is appropriate time to acknowledge our dearly departed soul icon, D'Angelo, who left us.
The Black Messiah.
And so I'm dedicating this game to him because although he's not an actor, he's had music featured in several soundtracks, as you can imagine. Yes. So.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So I went through his IMDb. He has one and extracted some songs that he's had featured on some Black favorites and Black classics.
That's crazy.
That I think you should know.
That's crazy.
But it's going to be fun to kind of go through. And I think this is a sweet way to have a moment for him.
Oh, so, I love that. This is cute. Yes. Okay. I apologize in advance. Let's do it. Okay.
All right. I'm going to play songs that his music scored in some Black films, and you have to guess the movie from the song.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure. Okay, let's do it.
For those of you playing at home, tell us how you did in the comments, and send some love to the icon D'Angelo.
Yes.
All right, here is your first sound.
Let's do it.
And I'll actually give you some clues to help you along.
Okay, you know she need a clue, honey. Okay, let's do the first one.
Here's your first sound.
Oh, okay. Give me a clue.
All right, so
because I'm just like, I don't. I'm like that could be the opening scene of any number of movies. Opening on that song. But yes, okay. Give me a hint if you have one, please.
So this movie was released in 1994.
94.
Yes.
Oh, girl. I was yeehaw to a grasshopper.
Same. Supporting cast included Eddie Griffin, Bokeem Woodbine, and Forrest Whitaker.
Life. No?
Bokeem
is not. Okay, Bokeem. What Bokeem be in? Eddie Griffin. Eddie Griffin not in Life? Who's the main lead? Is that are those the main cast?
I feel like the main lead will give it away.
Okay.
But
well, we had the third clue.
It stars Alan Payne and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, girl. Oh. What is that movie's called? Jason's Lyrics?
Yes. See, we got that. Yes. I knew the clue should help.
I'm so glad I would have not known without our two leads.
Yes. So we got a point on the board for this one.
Cute song, though.
Yeah. It definitely feels like a song that you would hear in a Black movie.
Absolutely. Sure. So many of them. As it played, I literally was like, oh, this could be the opening of a Tyler Perry movie. This could be opening of Family Johnson Vacation. This could be, all these movies that have that sound.
Yeah.
It felt like sunshine. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Next one.
Ready for your next song?
Let's do it.
You're guessing the movie from its song.
Baby, baby with you. Oh, I'm gonna give it to you. Yeah, I'm gonna need a lifeline.
Okay, so the first clue is that this is a hood classic that was released in 2001.
Hood classic 2001.
Yes.
Okay.
Second clue. BET used to have this whole on rotation morning, noon, and night.
Okay, I believe I have an answer.
And it was directed by one John Singleton.
Okay, I definitely have my answer.
Go ahead, give it to the people.
This Baby Boy.
This is absolutely Baby Boy.
Yes. It
Yes.
seemed like a song that would be, in my head, I was like, oh, maybe somebody's like riding down the street.
Yeah.
It's giving,
Yeah.
hood.
Yeah.
No shade to Baby Boy or the hood for that
Yes.
matter. But shout out to Baby Boy.
Yeah, shout out to Baby
Yes.
Boy. So you're 2 for 2 for this
Okay,
one.
look, shout out to the clues.
You're doing
okay?
good.
Shout out to the clue master.
Shout out to D'Angelo, the icon.
Yes.
All right, ready for clue number 3?
Last but not least, let's do it.
So we're guessing the movie from its song, and here is your third and final song, which I think we all know.
Oh.
Brown sugar, babe. I guess high off of love, don't know how to behave.
This song has been in like 12 movies. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me.
All right.
This song has been in like 12 songs. Come on, 12 movies. Come on now. Okay, let me get my clue. Let me get my clues. Let me be patient. I'm sorry, y'all.
Your first clue, this movie has supporting cast that includes Melinda Williams, Regina King, Della Reese, Wendy Raquel Robinson. The movie was released in 1996.
Okay.
And the movie was directed by Martin Lawrence.
Directed by Martin Lawrence.
Yes.
I got it.
All right. Go
I
ahead.
got
Throw
it.
it out there.
I think.
Throw it out there.
A thin line between
yes,
love and hate.
Ding, ding, ding. Come on. Yes. Big ups, big ups, big ups. 3 for 3. A perfect score this week. I think this is a great way to honor D'Angelo.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I thought I was going to not get none of them right. Okay.
You got all of them.
Because I can't tell you the name of them songs. Okay, no shade.
I figured the clues would help. Like,
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay, that was wonderful. That was fun. Look at you.
The first edition of Movie Jamz.
Yeah,
Yes.
shout out to Movie Jamz. Shout out to Movie Jamz. Okay, make sure, like Ray said, y'all let us know in the comments. I want to know your score.
Yes.
Okay, I want to know, did you get it just off the clip alone, or did you need the clues too?
Yes.
Okay, praise the Lord, amen. All right, before we get out of here, we have got our Good Vibes Only segment. These are our recommendations for you all to check out.
Yes.
I'll get us started.
Go ahead. Drop it like a side.
I have a movie recommendation for you all. And that movie is The Lovebirds. Okay, this is the Netflix movie from 2020 with Issa Rae and Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
It is a movie that I really enjoy.
Yeah, me too.
It was simple. It was straightforward. And if you're looking for something to throw on the TV that you already have access to, okay, this is a movie that's fun.
Yeah.
They actually, wrestle with their characters' identities in beautiful, wonderful ways.
In funny ways.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Right. And so that would be my recommendation for this week.
Nice. Mine is staying in the music lane. And I'm going to recommend something that we probably all have experienced, but it's been a great pick-me-up specifically today for me. And that's going to be Beyonce's Homecoming live album, which is the live version of her Homecoming special she did for Netflix some years ago. It's Homecoming season right now for many HBCUs. I'm sad not to be at my Homecoming, but this was a great way to kind of like get into that energy and recall a time where, the vibes were a bit better. So
Absolutely. I am not missing my homecoming. Okay, but shout out to all the HBCUs. Okay, we should support Black education on this here podcast. Yeah. Okay, so that will do it for this week's episode. Yes. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Okay, share with your friend. Tell your mama, daddy, sister, brother, uncle, aunt. If you like the conversations we are having here, we want more people to be part of this community.
Yes,
and join in with us. So be sure to do that because it will help folks find find and learn more about our show. And then next week, we will have our next film, Good Fortune.
Yes, Good Fortune.
I like Good Fortune, okay? But Good Fortune, directed by Aziz Ansari. He's also starring in it, Keanu Reeves, our legend Keke Palmer herself.
Kiki.
Okay, we're going to get into it. We'll see you all next week.
Yes, one.
One? Is that a thing?
You know how people used to just say one when we like got off the phone back in the day?
One love.
Yes, it was.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah,
well.
bring it back.
One.
If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap that subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating, because we are a 5-star show. We are a 5-star show. And review us in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll be bringing you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, you know it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckroll and animation by Jean Adi, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Heralds. This week's episode was edited by me, Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slay Jean and 5011 Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. and filmed on location at the Walgood Yard. See you at the movies. Holla! 3, 2, 1.
Child, you be clapping for the cows.
I do.
You be clapping to tell the cows to come home, okay? Baby, trust me, the mic go get you. Okay, both of them. Go catch that clap.
I need the spike.
So you said you want to see it.
Yes.
You said I want to know where it starts. For real, for real.